Evil. In this world, in this current age, the greatest fear amongst nigh all, if not everyone, is public humiliation, or being cancelled in modern terms. To be hated by everyone, not being loved. There's a greater fear than being hurt, losing your job, being broke, being homeless, being raped, being crippled, being killed. In this age, everyone is afraid. Afraid of being seen even as slightly a bad person, let alone a monster. Even if there were no real consequences, it would still be the greatest fear. There are consequences. This allows pleasant but mass ignorance to rule, indeed rule the world, where harsh, uncomfortable truths are stomped into the dust. And being a truth seeker is the most agonizing, lonely thing there is. To try to find out what is actually right in this world, what is actually real, is the most self-destructive, disadvantageous, and ruinous thing you can do in this life. Yet, it is the key to enlightenment, and the only thing that really matters. Does this seem right to you? To see the truth, speak it, and pursue it, you literally have to fight the entire world, to stand against everyone alone. And if you don't, it's perhaps even worse, as you have to live a lie in a sea of fools. Worthless fools that drive you insane. But what is right? What is true? It is not simple. It is complicated. Nuance is needed. Very precise nuance, and multiple perspectives and understandings on each single issue. Many things that are considered evil today are in fact right, or at the very least fair, technically correct. And in fact, the suppression or judgment of these concepts in an arrogant mindset is what is truly evil, what is truly fundamentally wrong. The suppression of truth, constantly using hive mind thinking to suppress individualistic thought. The only good is knowledge, wisdom, and truth, and the only evil is ignorance. Let me give you an example of true evil, which today is quoted as good. Or rather, two examples, two sides, as nuance is needed. Balance is needed. There are much more issues in the world, but there is a nigh infinite amount, and so we will do these two and get to the rest in the future. Let's choose probably one of the most hot button, wide-ranging issues of today. Relatively boundary pushing, but not too much. Men versus women. Let's talk a bit about male and female sexuality, and an example for it. We will defend both men and women's sexuality, but we will focus more on men because in this current age they are the most demonized by society, at the moment anyway. So, a woman's in a club, young, really beautiful, dressed in something cute, dark, lots of flashing club lights, wearing, let's say, booty shorts, cover only half her booty, high heels, and a tank top. It reveals her midriff, let's say. The top's sheer, see-through basically, doing all kinds of burlesque, trying to be as wanted, desired, and loved as possible. I've done this as a woman. My intention is to drive men crazy as possible, so they can come up and touch you, to be as loved as possible, to be as desired as possible. A man walks up, starts dancing behind her, puts his arms around her, forearms around her boobs, grabs her waist with the other, doesn't seem bothered, enjoys it a bit, then turns around to kiss him. Maybe wrap a leg around him. Looks like these two are going to make each other very happy. Now, stop. Who's in the wrong here? What do you think? I'll give you 26 to think about it. What do you think and feel? Okay, thought about it? What if it goes differently? The answer was, first of all, that no one was really in the wrong. Why does there always have to be an enemy? There doesn't. Both of these things are very fair and very natural. But again, let's see if it from our perspective. She turns around and he's ugly and maybe a little unconfident. And she's furious. And she thinks he's beneath her and he dares to touch her. Isn't traumatized, by the way, or hurt. No woman has ever been hurt at something so slight. No matter what they say, take it from another woman. A slight fright, an indignant, prideful rage at most. Some lesser man would think he's worthy. That is it. Regardless, she makes a huge fuss, screaming rape, gets guys around the bar to grab the guy, reports him. It's sexual assault. He goes to jail for 15 years. Tell me, use true empathy here. True empathy. Think. Would you rather be groped and grabbed, or even let's just say fully raped for 10 minutes? Or would you rather go to jail for 15 years? Is the punishment really meeting the crime? Is that really justice? Is your momentary discomfort or even a bit of a scare really worth 15 years of someone being enslaved and imprisoned to have so much of their mortality and possibilities destroyed for 15 years? This is profoundly evil. This is using feigned fragility to get society to destroy someone for you, to basically murder them, using others as your pawns to do it. Women aren't babies. This is a power play. All of this is to gain more societal power. Women do it on purpose so they can have their cake and eat it too. Now, I see what you're thinking. Even if this is the case, the guy didn't need to grab her, but hey, sometimes women like that. I can attest to that myself. You see it often. Women rejecting men, then complaining about them not trying harder, pursuing them more, being more aggressive. Tell me, why does the woman get to be so free with her sexuality at all times? A man does not. Men are predatory and covetous. This is true. They want the beautiful thing, and that's normal. That's what they are. It's what women even want. They want to be able to inspire such passion and desire in men's hearts. Now, let's think about this from another societal perspective, another age. In the 1950s, a woman doing what I have described above, the burlesque dancing club part, would be considered the devil's whore, a slut, the evil, the temptress, the impure, and blah blah blah, and would be severely punished for it. Is this right? Acting like some hot babe, dancing half naked isn't a good time? Of course it is. Like, what kind of backwards world was that? The punishments they received, we're talking decades long imprisonment in a mental institution, demonization by society, mass hate from everyone. For just being excited or even masturbating in their own home and being caught, they could be lobotomized. Just for indulging in their natural and beautiful sexuality. Does this sound familiar to anyone? This is what's happening to men now. Humanity hasn't become collectively more enlightened. Evil has just flipped. As such, men now can't freely live in their sexuality, which, yes, is a bit predatory, but that's just nature and what women both want and need. Your sexuality isn't some separate part of you you just do in private. It is you. It is part of you. It's who you are. And both of these sexualities should be able to freely express in this world and society. So instead of that being respected and embraced, both these sexualities, even if it'd be a little fair to be a little fearful of men's, we now have half the men living in a broken, sexless, dead life, hidden in their homes, virgins till their 40s and beyond, never gotten to have lived at all, having summer flings, exciting sexual encounters in clubs, etc. All for what? The woman couldn't get grabbed or whistled at once a week or a month? Is this balance? I don't think so. But this sexuality is what could be considered a minor evil. And in not understanding and accepting it, there is now a far greater evil, what I've just described above. Billions of men in a living death, as young as a toddler, being taught they are monsters, taught they hate themselves, loathe themselves, destroy everything that makes them what they are inside. All because a woman couldn't just be honest and had to be viewed as the morally good victim. So instead of saying to the guy they thought was ugly, "Ugh, you're beneath me, you loser," that would make them look bad. He had to be the moral bad guy too. All this is just power games. To look like the victim, to get more powerful. And to be clear, something everyone needs to understand. Women are the same as men, but also the opposite of men in many ways. Men get off on fantasies of power, of being heroes, strong, great. Women have literally sexual fantasies of being victims, of being the damsel, of being pitied and taken care of by everyone. I've had them myself, even played some of them out and pretend I just had the honour and empathy to not ruin an innocent man's life because I wanted to take it to the next level. But to be clear, even me, making this selfless video that could get me a lot of hate, pushing all the boundaries, I have in fact been tempted to take these fantasies to the next level. So if I've been tempted, then some vacuous, foolish girls, no honour, no code, have definitely done so. We've gotten to the point that men will quote unquote fight back by demonising women's sexuality. This is not the answer, and is just making things worse. You are shaming them and making them feel bad once again for their sexuality. This is just making things worse for both, and one day it will just reflip and I will have to be fighting the opposite battle. We need to understand and accept ourselves and one another. The key is to criticise their cruelty, their actions and their demonisation of men, and to explain your own male sexuality and defend it, and defend why it is normal and fair, even the darker edges of it. Not to just start criticising women's sexuality because that's the easy thing to do. Because instead of defending a beautiful and natural sexuality that has a bit of a dark edge and is hated by society, no, that would be hard. And you know the old saying, it's between what is right and what is easy, and you're choosing what is easy. Just to demonise another beautiful sexuality in retaliation, which is women's sexuality, which is, by the way, a sexuality you need as well. In the end, I can be making videos grifting to each side. This video, the first, is challenging every side. But let's call this chapter to a close and move on. What do you really need? Is for everyone to just empathise, understand one another, each other's in their own darkness, to be precise, their own evil, to forgive minor slights that are very illegal, but ultimately just that, minor, because the law is not great. It's just a rigid, broken system that over-punishes nothing, or rather I should say everything. The punishments are always over-proportional because people are bloodthirsty, blood-vying beasts. And others, people, in fear of looking criminal, start to morally virtue signal. That is an extreme good thing when it's the exact opposite. What we need is for everyone to understand and accept their own inner darkness, their inner demon, and embrace all of it. So constant words of shame can no longer be used against the maverick, the three thinker, and society as weapons. How many people do you see yelling Nazi, rapist, or the ultimate one, paedophile, when half the time, really, 99% of the time, you're insulting someone for their stance on something totally unrelated, like immigration, or taxes, or religion. Look up the definition of paedophilia. It is not that. You cowardly lying fool. We all know that you are using it to stop people saying their opinion because you are weak. You have no honour, and so you use these lies to shut people down. The Nazis are long dead. You think someone is truly fascistic, then at least just say that they are a fascist. Have some strength of character and will. It's a long history out there. You can at least use another subjectively evil group for your insult. Like, why not the Mayans, or the child abusing Spartans, the blood sacrificing Mayans rather, or the Muslims, or the Persians, or the Jews, or the Christians, or Mao's killings, or Vlad the Impaler, or the Americans, or the British, or the Ottoman Empire, or even blah blah blah. There's a lot of dark history out there, and literally every culture on earth has done some great evil or been the victim of one. They've all enslaved different colours of different people at some point or another, and usually not even because they are a different colour at all, but due to their culture, thinking their culture is superior, or they just defeated someone in a war, or they had a different religion and thought the other religion was wrong. No race, religion, colour or creed has a monopoly on evil. It's just the uneducated on our vast history that think so. If you really educate yourself on history, no one can point to another culture and say they are the singular oppressors of all history. It is simply not true. Do you know that some people actually believe that the British and Americans invented slavery like 200 years ago? Because that's the only history they know. Our recorded history goes back 10,000 years on our very gigantic planet with hundreds of countries, hundreds of like cities within countries. And that's just our recorded history. Our actual species goes back millions of years. We thought it was like 250,000. Now we've learned it's 25 million. And that's just recent. We have white people enslaving black people enslaving white people, black people enslaving black and white and Asian people, white people enslaving Asian people and black people and other white people, and Asian people enslaving other Asian people, and then Asian people enslaving white, black and Asian people, in all multiple different orders for multiple different reasons. What is evil? Our inner dark, our inner evil, our inner void, our inner prima materia need to finally be embraced. Everyone needs to master their own and understand their own, as well as understand the darkness and evil of others. Otherwise, when connecting with other people, people are just connecting with one side of themselves and one side of another person, and so no true connections can be made. No true friends can be made. People, even with their closest friends, only connect with a polite mask the majority of the time. Indeed, only connect with the light. But then, this is a polite mask. So be honest with yourself. Can you really even say this is your light? You cannot connect with your lower darkness, express it. And how can you possibly even say you've even touched your own inner light? Your dark is the fundamental root, the core, the foundation of your light is what your light rests upon. So if you can't find your darkness or connect with it, or honestly express it, then you can't even reach your own light. Tell me, what is the true nature of evil? Is evil even the right word for this? For minor comforts. People that will lie to their dying breath, that will wage endless propaganda wars until none of us know what is real, until the entire of humanity's mind is broken, till we're all going insane, till no one knows what the truth is. People with no honour whatsoever, no code. People with completely no redeeming qualities whatsoever. And yet, could you even call these people evil? Worthless is more like. Snivelling cowards, whining about every little thing, whining about nothing, weak beyond belief in ways that defy description. No, absolutely worthless. Worthless is what I would call them. No, you know what? It's human worthlessness and patheticness and weakness is what is ruining this world. Their souls and selves are made of lies. No, it might ironically be a form of evil that we need. People with that dark edge, unafraid of being seen as wrong by this human society, totally free of insane human customs, all this virtue signaling bullshit. People who are unafraid of being seen as monsters so they can say the actual obvious truth that this absolutely broken society and world and species actually thinks is wrong, when the truth is, the actual truth isn't scary at all. Just generations of lies that have brainwashed us all into thinking this way. Well, not me anyway. What we need is people who have mastered their darkness, their evil, because that's the only way to truly find your own light. Thanks for listening, everyone. I'm doing my best and I hope you are too. Hope you enjoyed, everyone. And remember, for a tree to reach heaven, the roots do need to reach all the way down to hell. Perhaps in going through hell, our own darkness, our own quote-unquote evil, we'll learn it's not something to be fought or even conquered, even ignored or stood apart from, but understood and mastered and accepted. And perhaps, maybe, just maybe, with enough darkness, enough void, enough prima materia to grow, we can reach the very top of the tree and find true good.